Should I bring you? Should I bring you in, or are you gonna make a request? Let's make like this. Boom. And
What's
yes.
up?
What's up, Mr.
How are you, man?
Swiss? We are live on air.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you? How are you holding up? How's everything over there?
Yeah, everything's okay. Um, Look, with my family I can go out, but and it's still people outside. They're walking, but yeah, it's quite chill because. But the news from the States, it's crazy out there, right? You really, it's getting tougher and tougher. I think in the States, right?
Different areas, more so New York than over here. Over here, I mean, the same. I can go out. I can go get
Ah,
food.
okay.
New
So
York is a little bit dangerous.
okay, okay. Wow. Yeah, I hope that it doesn't spread so much in the country.
I think it's
Yeah,
starting to slow peak a little bit, so they're
yeah.
talking about opening up maybe next month,
Oh, okay, okay.
which could be dangerous, but
Yeah, we have to try this. We have to try this. I think it's also here next week they make it a little bit more chill. They say, yeah, some restaurants gonna open and so on. So depends also because in Germany we have 16 small states, right?
Mhm.
Like that state is I don't know how it's called, but you know. And now, yeah, next week it's gonna be a little bit more easy. But let's see, because they say now this coronavirus maybe come back end of the year, like crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's when
Yeah,
once the flu season comes back in the wintertime, I think it's going to come back, but
yeah,
hopefully by
yeah. I
then we'll
think
have a vaccine.
yes, it makes yeah. But okay, it's not our topic, but would you do a vaccine? Would you do it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't get sick that often, so I normally don't take the flu shot. But the last 3 or 4 years, I normally take the flu shot just to help, just in case. But if it's safe, yeah, I mean, I'll take
Okay.
it. But
Yeah, because Bill Gates want to do something. He said this. Yeah, but I
yeah,
believe it's also a big business thing. So
I know that
yeah,
that's the dangerous part. So I don't
yeah,
know. You know, I mean, I'm not afraid.
life.
I'm a
Yeah.
little bit not afraid. Like if it happens, if I have to take something, if it's safe, I'll try
Okay. So
it.
let's start. Yeah, me too. And yeah, me too. But sometimes all the speculations and conspiracies are in my head.
Sure, sure.
That's why.
Yeah.
So let's start the interview. I think I can start with. So when did you start dancing? Which time? And who taught you? You know?
Um, I, okay. I started in 1979.
Mm.
I was about 14 years old before high school, and I first got introduced to popping and waving was with two guys that I went to school with. They were older,
Mm.
Brian and Daryl Lewis. They introduced me to the dance. They used to go out to parties, and they always looked. They were knowing what was going on. Like out there. They used to take me to
Okay.
disco parties, and then the next thing is
Okay.
say, "Hey," they came to my house and said, "Check this out." And I always remember this. They were the first ones. They came and they did. They said, "Watch." They did this. They went, ah, 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 da, da, and then the other brother went like this,
Yeah.
and then they went did this, and then they did the
Okay.
backslide.
Wow. Wow.
And I was this shy kid, and I was just like, "What is this? I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
And that's how I got started. I uh, mainly got taught after that. I lived in a suburb of Los Angeles. Um, this is Los Angeles County. It's a big county. So
Okay.
Hollywood, you've been to Hollywood. Hollywood is like maybe 15
No, I
minutes from
never
here.
I never been in the States. This is
Oh, you
yeah,
never came
never.
here?
Never,
Okay.
never.
I thought maybe you might
So
have come. Okay. Everybody's come to LA. Why have you not come
yeah.
to LA?
Yeah, I haven't. And it's my dream. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't. I haven't. I
So,
have to come.
so we have the more urban areas like Compton, Linwood,
Yes, this I
South
know.
Central LA.
You know what
So
I
I
say
had,
every time? I say every time I would be a perfect U.S. citizen. I know so much about this country. It's crazy. I mean,
yeah,
like overall, like also New York and a huge NBA fan and so on. So
me too.
which borough did you live before in the in 79?
I grew up in Norwalk, which Norwalk would be, it's in between LA and Orange County. Orange County is where Disneyland is.
Yeah.
Closest area near here would be maybe like Compton is about 10 minutes away. Long Beach is like 5, 10 minutes away. That's the closest that you
Okay.
might know.
So you
And
start in the
I
yeah, yeah.
79, and just really quickly, I had I had these guys that moved from Compton area to my high school, and when I started popping, we just knew surface level, just a little bit, just everybody was trying to learn and learn, and then we heard in school like, hey, there's these black guys that started coming to our school, and they have these jackets that have writing on the back that say this, Twilight Poppers, and everybody's hearing, where I want to see, I want to see. And people in every class were saying like, oh, this guy does some crazy stuff with his arms. And I'm like, oh, I want to see, I want to see. My last class, the main brother, the oldest brother, he sits right next to me in my classroom. And I'm just like, hey, you pop? And we started talking. And then the
Yeah.
next thing, that was it.
So it was directly the term popping from you when everything was dancing, right?
Yeah.
So it was already the umbrella term for all these movements and skills and styles, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know about all the other stuff about people that use, some people, and I can tell you a couple of stories about the term pop locking and popping, how it kind of got
Okay,
confusing to some
cool.
people. But the only other term that I ever heard was people saying hitting. They never used it as a name, but they would say like more like, hey, go on, hit on them, or go on and pop on them, and
Yeah.
things like that. But it was mainly popping. Yeah.
Okay. And when how old you was in breaking and entering?
Breaking and entering, I was 18 years old.
Ah,
18 years.
okay. So it was 4 years later.
Yeah.
So you was practicing. You had a crew then after 1 year or something. You already had a
Well,
crew.
the crew that taught me they were the Twilight Poppers. It was
Mm-hmm.
Larry Houston, his brother Ricky, and his cousin Daryl. They all had different styles. One brother was more just straight popping, like similar to like a Pop and Pete, just pop pop pop.
Mm-hmm.
And then the brother Puppet Rick, he showed me how to do chick waving, and he would do like puppet style. And then Daryl was more loose, very very fluid, and did like wave stuff. So I had a little bit of
Yeah.
a triple threat there, learning different
Yeah.
styles.
So
And through high school, we were together. They trained me. I was a part of the group. When I did breaking and entering, they had already kind of stopped. Some people just stopped. They started going to
mm-hmm.
work or to college or something.
Yeah.
Breaking and entering. If you watched breaking and entering, the guy that I'm dancing with,
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
he's Daryl. He's Daryl Walker, one of the crew members.
Okay.
I asked him. I said, please come do this. I wanna like pay respect to you guys, like showcase you guys, because I had the job with breaking and entering. So I
Yeah.
said, can I invite my whole crew? And they said, yeah, try to get them. So I got Daryl to do it with me. And then there's a very end part with on Venice Beach, and
Yeah.
Larry, the original guy, he's there with me doing. I think we're doing like a little
Yes.
hook
I know.
at the
I
very
know.
end.
I know. Yeah.
That's Larry. He doesn't dance anymore. I haven't kept in
Okay.
contact with him.
Okay.
And actually, at that time, when you watch, if you notice, I'm dancing with Ice-T. So
Yes.
I used to be in the original radio crew. It was
Whoa.
Ice-T, myself. There was a couple other guys. We had a b-boy and another popper, and we used to travel, go do shows with him. And he would rap, and then he'd come and he'd lock, and we'd dance together. So that was the original radio crew.
Wow. So so you grew up also with Radiotron, right? So
Radio first.
the
Radio first.
radio.
Radiotron was after.
Oh,
So
okay.
the original was radio. That's when like artists used to go and people used to dance, people used to go sing or rap, and then Radiotron came afterwards. Okay, so I started going when it was radio. That's how I met Ice-T.
Yeah. So how can you explain how was the time in radio and and the battles and the skills and the styles and everybody was meeting. How was the when you compare it? I ask this because to compare it, how is today? You know, the vibe of if of course
Well,
it's different, but what is special on it in it?
the biggest difference between back then and now is that
Uh-huh.
back then it was a social scene. So if you can imagine, uh, almost like if you would see if you remember in some of these movies a long time ago, like people would go to party, people would go to dance, people would go to meet girls and drink and stuff. So you go dancing, and the popping, that was all together. It wasn't just a popping event or a
Yes.
b-boy event. So that came a little bit later, where it became more graffiti everywhere, and everything was about the rapping and the b-boying and stuff like that. When we went out, there were parties that just happened to have circles over there. Hey, what are they doing over there? And they're either popping or they're breaking. So there was a mix, you know. So when I was done, if I was done in a circle or somebody was done b-boying, they would go hang out and they can go dance with the girl if they wanted to. You don't have that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. This is nuts. Yeah. It's more. This is true. This is true. So after breaking and entering, you did also a movie, right? Fast Forward, right? You was in Fast Forward.
Yeah, I was actually before that. I was actually studying to be an artist. I got a scholarship to go to an art college, so it was a
Oh,
little bit
okay.
of. But what I did is I finished the scholarship and I was had opportunities to dance, so I was kind of struggling to do both. I went to there's a company, a well-known company a long time ago named Dancing Machine. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. It's Jeff Kutash. If you ever watched the video with Poppin' Pete with the black shirt with the white suspenders with the white hat, and there's
Yes.
three of them. That's
Yes.
he's working for Dancing Machine. So a lot of people worked for Dancing Machine back in the day.
Ah, okay.
So Dancing Machine would put together dance groups like a show, and he would send one to like South Africa, one to Europe, one somewhere else. We went to Spain, so we went to Spain for 3 months, and they were like lockers, jazz dancers, whackers, and then you had poppers and breakers, and we were the popper and breaker, a
Wow.
friend of mine and myself. So we went to Spain, and there for 3 months, and I had met Taco already, so I was talking to him on the phone, and they were doing breaking, and I missed breaking because I was in Spain. I was in
Yeah.
contract, so I couldn't come back.
Yeah.
So anyway, I spent 3 months in Spain, and then came back, and that's when I landed Fast Forward, because there was a lot of movies at that time. The hotbed was
Ah, yeah.
Beat Street. You had Breaking.
Yeah.
You had the one the Skeet did was I can't remember right now. Body Rock. And then you had
Body Rock. Yes.
yeah, then you had
Yeah.
Fast Forward was one of them, and I landed Fast Forward. It's a
Yeah.
little bit of an interesting story if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
They were already had the crew and the actors and everything, and I had an actor friend of mine, Michael DiLorenzo. He did some TV shows a long time ago, New York Undercover, I think it was. So he called me, and there was like a special place in LA we used to go dance. It's called the Rhythm Lounge. I think you've heard it maybe on some of the interviews.
This no, I didn't.
Okay, so a lot of people used to go there and dance, Shabba-Doo,
Okay.
Taco, Sugar Pop, everybody. So one night he says, I need you to meet me at the Rhythm Lounge tonight. And I said, okay. Went, and then he says, do me a favor. He comes up to me, he goes, I need you to do me a favor. He goes, I need you to go in the middle of the floor and just dance. Just get off. So I said, why? He goes, just please, just go. So I went, and I just danced, I did a solo. And then afterwards he came up to me, he goes, I'll call you tomorrow. Called me tomorrow, and Fast Forward was directed by Sidney Poitier, the famous actor.
Yeah.
His daughter was there with my friend Michael. So his daughter wanted to see me dance, and she saw me, and she says, I want him for the part of the Fast Forward movie. So the next day,
Wow.
they called me and said, you got the role. So,
Cool. Very cool. Sometimes you have just to go in and dance, and then they see you. It's so it's still happening like this. It's crazy.
yeah,
This is
it was
super
fun.
crazy. So, because you mentioned Taco, so you met Taco before breaking and entering, right? Or in this time?
Before.
And
So,
and you was also in a crew with Taco, or it was separate? How was it?
so what happened was when I was with my old crew in high school, the first time I saw Taco was there was a small competition somewhere near here, near the city where I grew up.
Hmm.
And actually, I knew Shrimp before I met Taco.
Ah,
So
okay.
Shrimp lives near here, so he used to go to the high schools near my high school because they would go pop at lunchtime and things like that. People, when we started popping, we would take a car, and lunch hour we would go drive to another school and pop against people and then come back.
Wow.
So Shrimp was connected with Taco. They entered a competition, and then I entered a competition with my two crew members. That's the first time I saw him. And then after that, there was another high school near here. It's actually 10 minutes from here,
Yeah.
Gara High School. There was a jam, and I remember we was with my friends, but we were more in the a little bit just. I don't even think I really danced that night. I was more like we were just having fun, just going to have fun, meeting girls.
Yeah.
And there was a circle, and I remember walking up, and I looked in the circle, and there was this guy dancing, and I said, "Wow, he's dope," and he was doing some crazy legs and popping, and it's like nice. Then it was actually the radio. I went to the radio, and somehow I just told the story recently. I was walking out, and Taco was sitting down in the lobby, and he just looked at me and he says, "Hey," something like, "Hey, I know you," and I go, "Yeah, aren't you Taco?" And we sat down, we started talking, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come over and we can practice?" And the next day I was at his house. I don't know if you've seen a picture. I can send you. It's the first picture we took together in his garage, and we were
Mm-hmm.
practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, we clicked, and we became like, we danced everywhere. We went to go have auditions together.
Yeah. Yeah.
We became just good friends.
Wow.
And we actually did form a group during that time. It wasn't famous. We just made a name. We called it Body Isolation, and we
Okay.
just went everywhere together.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And and how, so of course when you are friends, you practice together and each other, you influence each other, right?
Yeah,
So his style influence your style and your style influence his style, right? This is how I know how it is in the crew. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Um, are you also in the video in this boulevard when his taco is dancing with
yeah,
the short? You are also inside this video, right?
yeah. There's two
Yeah.
different videos out there. One of them is on Santa Monica Boulevard, and the other one is on no, one's on Melrose, and the other one is on Hollywood Boulevard. So
Yeah.
that's actually right after I got back from Spain. I think the night before I got back from Spain from the show, and Mr. Freeze was filming, and the actor I told you, Michael DeLorenzo, he was hanging out with us, and we just said, "Hey, let's go hang out," and we went to
Yeah,
hang
chilling.
out,
Yeah.
just dancing and acting
Because this
crazy.
is a legendary footage, right?
Yeah,
From you guys. This is so crazy. And good that you took it. It's super good.
it's funny
Actually,
because Freeze always had a camera everywhere. Freeze probably has footage on everybody because we weren't going to go film. We were just walking around, hanging out. And what you saw is what you saw, just looking at the shops and things like that.
yeah,
And Freeze just filmed everything all the time. So
crazy.
yeah, it's a good thing he filmed it.
It's a good thing because it's history and it's main history of popping too, right? It's crazy. Um, okay, so after this, so because you was in this crew, and you did jobs, so after, I think Taco and Shrimp with Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson, when you become more into this show business, I think after the movie, maybe, I don't know. So can you say something how
This
was the living as a popper and exchanging, battling, and doing, and being with crazy artists on stage?
once that point started, there was no there was rarely like a lag. There was no time for nothing. There was just something going on.
Wow.
This dance just blew up in America, where it was everywhere. Like we there was no internet. We didn't have phones. We used pagers to call somebody on a payphone. But so the communication was just home phone and meet me over here and let's
Yeah.
go. But it just started so fast that it was, I call it like a roller coaster. Like we were just holding on and just going and going. And the next day was something else. Like, hey, there's an audition for this McDonald's commercial, or is this, or there's that. And hey, next week is an audition for a tour. And it was just crazy. It was just something going on for us.
Yeah, it was building and building.
I don't know. I don't think it was like that for everybody. For myself, I can only speak for myself. It's like
Yeah,
when I met Taco, like next thing I know, it's like, hey, let me introduce you. I want to introduce you to like some of my friends, and let me introduce you to Pete and Skeet and Sugar Pop. And next thing, oh, this person, and the next person I met Shabadoo and then Tony Basil, and it's like it was just doing this, like just
yeah,
dominoing against these people.
yeah,
And once I met these people, um, just it became like a little bit small circle where like if they needed somebody, they knew, hey, I need a popper, I need to call this person, call Hugo, if he's free, I need him for this video or something. And it was just
yeah.
working that way, you know. And
So you was, yeah, so it was in a inner circle, right? Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. And of course, so you practice also every day, right? You've been practicing every day, or how was the practice before, you know, like because now we talk about practice. Me, I started in 98, so we had a lot of fun while dancing and practicing, right? And and I believe also that in the 80s it was the same. You had fun while dancing, right? It wasn't really a focused practice.
we had fun. We were young and we were just like doing new things and just. But the thing, but I'll be honest with you, like we practiced. Well, I practiced when I first started learning because before I even danced at all or went into a circle, I was really practicing at home and practicing my pop and practicing waving and things like that. But then when I met like Taco, it was almost like I use the word like on the job training. Like you get a new job and they don't give you time to train. It's like you have to pick it up. You have to go. Come on. I still remember like meeting like Pete and Skeet and I used to ask myself, oh, they say, did they teach you, you know, the EB style and stuff like that? And I said, no. I go, I watched and I had to pick it up. I had no choice. Like if we had to go do a show or go do a routine somewhere, it's like I remember like I had to go do it. I just had to learn how to do the step.
Yeah,
And you have no time. You just have no time to think.
of course.
We trained a little bit in the beginning at Taco's house in the garage. We trained, but then after we were out all the time. We were either at a nightclub or working. So our training was a lot of times in the nightclubs. We go out
Yeah,
at night.
okay.
The DJ puts on a good song, and we get down for like 2 hours, and we're sweating,
Wow,
and then we go home. That was our
perfect.
training system.
Yes, makes sense. It makes so much sense. And
I train now more than I did back then, to be quite honest. Like
yeah,
now, it's like part of my routine. You know.
look, I'm not dancing as long as you, but I have the same feeling. Now I'm 36 and now I train more and become more technical than
Mm,
before.
yeah.
But I grew up also with all your tutorial videos, like the electric boogaloo tutorials and so on. Like that,
Mm.
and this was already very technical, right? But when did you become technical? Like to say, okay, I know how a wave is, but now let's make it more deep. Because when I talk with people about taco is super technical, right? And it's
I
super
think,
conscious of what he's doing. So
yeah, I think
when I see your style, when I see also the breaking and entering, so the solo and the routine, it's very technical. So
I think breaking and entering was more freestyle and just what I learned from my teachers, but it was, I think, more of a, I mean, it really was just a basic wave and a basic tick wave and then movement that they taught me. I became more technical, I think, when I met Taco because I was forced to. When I met Taco, like everybody talked about, like you can see how hard he popped and how strong
yeah,
he was. And I was just like, I had to, you know, when I met him, I was like, wow, we were sharing he was very like just hard with popping and his snaking was very tense. Mine
yeah.
was more of a loose style, you know, it was very more relaxed.
Ah,
So when we exchanged, like he would take something, if I did something like very loose, he would take it and then he can add the power and the isolation to it. And I'm like, it opened ideas for me. Like I
yeah,
looked and it's like, we took something from, that was, he would go like, if he did a wave, he would go, and he would pop with it or isolate it. And I was just like,
yeah. Okay.
I've always told people like he can take something and maybe he didn't create it, but he made it better. He made it more powerful. and that's what was
Interesting.
special. That's what was special about him. You know, you basically
Interesting.
were forced to
Yeah.
do as good or get as good as close as
Yeah.
you can to him.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think in all of this time when you went together, I can really imagine that this is how you dance in the clubs, right?
Yeah,
So maybe you give something and he answer you, right? So you make like a battle, but not real battle, right? It's like a, okay, show me your thing. Let's do, yeah.
that's very common. Like even I remember him. Like I don't know if you've ever seen poppers when they, or maybe when he's done a judge solo where we're sitting down and he'd get up from sitting down and maybe go over and like he would get a glass if we're at the bar and like drink and go shh and do a wave and then come back and then sit down and like he would play and we would just play
Play,
around like that.
play. It's the
That
playing. Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of how you get ideas and concept from watching movies. If we went to go see Terminator, we would try to act like Arnold Schwarzenegger and then wave or do something crazy. And a lot of this playing around became like what people look at today and say, wow, look at what he was doing back then. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we're just, a lot of it was just playing, just having fun. You know?
This is so important because
Mm.
today I feel it's more about practicing hard, be efficient, be a competitor for a competition,
Yeah.
and it's not about playing anymore. How do you see this?
Yeah, I see some of that missing. Like I can see some from sitting down and judging and you watch some
Yeah,
people, like, I look and I think somewhere along the line, yeah, being a competitor, being in competition, that's one thing. So you watch somebody and watch their skills, and you say, "Wow, he's really good. Looks like an athlete. Like he just can move really well and he can pop
yeah,
really hard." But then sometimes another guy can come around, and maybe his skills aren't so great, but he's just having fun with it and enjoying the music, and he's got musicality, and it's like, how do you judge that? Like this guy is just, having so much fun, and I think all of us miss that sometimes. We're like, hey, are we still having fun with this dance? And I
yeah,
think that's very, very important. Otherwise, your soul and your feeling starts to go down.
yeah. Then it's only technical.
Yeah,
Maybe I can quote Bruce Lee, when he say like, when you're too technical, you become a robot, and when you only
yeah.
by feeling, you are an animal, right? Yeah, it's not controllable. So it's the balance, right? To have
And
the
and
right
and
balance.
I've had a lot of friends, friends that who you and I both know that like we've all said it. Yeah, I think it's similar to like sports. When like maybe an athlete like Michael Jordan or somebody along the line after they've been doing it for so long, they say like, I'm just tired. It's not fun anymore. I'm not
Yeah,
enjoying it. It's the same thing with dancing. Like if you don't
yeah,
find fun or joy, what are you doing it for? Besides money, let's say if you are working or teaching, it's going to kill you unless you have fun and enjoy. You
yeah.
have to find that child inside to have fun with it.
So true. Yes. So there is footage. I bring it back to another topic, right? There is footage from you and Taco in Japan. So, or let's say, when did you went first time to Japan?
The first time I went to Japan was it was in the 80s, and I was sent by Skeeter Rabbit. There was a Ski had a connection in Japan with some people, and in Japan at this time, um, you didn't have studios, you didn't have
Yeah,
competitions. All you had, again, were nightclubs. So you had these nightclub owners, and basically they wanted to promote their nightclub. So how they would promote their nightclub was to hire some popular or American dancers, or they could be from anyone, anywhere.
yeah,
I think they just chose the connection, like, hey, uh, this owner knew these girls, knew Skeeter Rabbit, and they would go to USA and they would put together like maybe 3 people, bring them over, hire them for like 3 months, and we would do a show, 2 shows a night. Almost like, it's almost like what they do in Las Vegas, like 2 times a night. You would do a
yeah,
nightclub show. They tell you, put together a show that lasts about 15, 20 minutes, and then just perform it 2 times a night. You get 1 day off during the week, and they put you in an apartment, and you go perform, and you make
and you, yeah,
basically get a lot of people to come to the nightclub, and that's what we
wow,
did. So we went to
wow,
Osaka, and this is a little bit key because I believe that a lot of these seeds were planted, like especially in Japan, at Japan this time, Wild Cherry was the DJ at the club that I performed at. People like the Tetsuji and Oz and Scene and all these different people, they were they're younger than me, so they would have, before I left, they would do like a dance party. And I'm sure you can find it on the internet, I have it somewhere. And we would basically, all these poppers show up, it's a private party, and we would split the dancers between two captains, myself, and at the time it was Casper. And we would basically just have a fun party and battle each other. And then we would do a showcase. And these guys saw, like, you know, they learned from watching Ski and Pete and myself. And I think 1 or 2 years later, Cobra from Booyah Tribe, they went over there and did some shows. And that's how we started going to Japan and going over there. And matter of fact, the owner of Old School Night, Machine, I used to go to a club, a bar afterwards, after work, and B-boys would be there. He was a B-boy that was there dancing, and I would go pop, and we would just hang out. And now he's probably the biggest promoter in Japan.
Wow. Okay, because I'm a huge fan of the Japanese popping scene, because they have like a very strong boogaloo scene, but they have also a very strong animation scene, and like this. And when you see Scene and his students, they dance like you or Taco and this kind of style. Let's say style. I don't know if it's a style, because for me, now maybe I can ask you. For me, like this Taco, Mr. Smooth style, this waving, popping style. Is it LA, or is it a borough style, or you know how you can explain this kind of style?
Taco is I mean, you got to call him Long Beach because that's his home. I think I like to call it a combination style, because before Taco met Pete and the EBs, he was popping already. Okay, let's get that clear. He was popping and snaking. He was in the Mysterious Poppers.
Yes.
So he used to robot, and he used to dime stop, and he used to snake, you know. And then when he wanted to learn how to pop harder. So when he met Pete, because Taco used to go to school with Pete's brother, Decky, and that's how he met Pete. Decky would tell Pete, "You got to see this guy that I know, Bruno," and then he just was dope. So he started, you know, learning from Pete and them, and learning the EB style. So for me, it's the same thing with me. Like I had.
Yeah. How about you? Yes.
I was blessed enough to have 3 teachers that had 3 different styles. So I had a popping style, and see, I guess my teachers were that good because they knew, they had knowledge, because they were really, for that time, they were dope. And it's a shame that they couldn't be seen because there wasn't any channel to show them. But one guy would pop hard, and he had a very similar style to Pete. He would just pop. Yeah. And the other guy did the puppet style, and then he showed me how to chick wave. And then you had the loose style. So I learned these different feelings and these different styles. And then after getting together with Taco is the one that showed me, at least introduced me to the EB style. He showed me the crazy legs, and he would show me how to do it, and just simple things. And Taco's style is different. If you look around the world, what 3 styles do you see mainly? I mean, mainly, primarily around the world. Like even from your experience, when you watch, you would see something similar to what Pop and Pete does. Okay.
Yes.
You see a lot of followers. And I'm not saying they're copycats. I'm saying like that's.
Yeah. No, I understand. Just it's like
they're feeling.
Yeah.
Then you have a lot of them that do a feel like Skeeter Rabbit, because there's a lot that you have that.
Yeah.
Then you have now more of a resurgence of like a book style that you see from like Boogaloo Sam, like you see that in JG and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then you have the other style that you see a lot of, like I think what was the waving, snaking, combo style that I talk about, and that's Taco, because Taco doesn't travel anymore, but people still come to LA to come see him, to Long Beach.
Yes.
People are still doing this style, so he did something right because he was such a big influence on people.
Yes.
And Skeeter Rabbit was very, very key to showcasing that. Um, he wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna just do Skeeter Rabbit and I'm gonna go do this and work and work and work. Skeet would call me and say, listen, after Japan, I went to Japan a couple of times after that. Then I started going more often. And if there was some job, he said, "Hey, I want you to go to Korea. They've seen Pete, they've seen me. They had Taco before me, but Taco wasn't traveling anymore. So he says, I want to send you. They need to see you. They need to see some waving and some more stuff like that." See, he was in a sense looking out for Korean dancers in other places. He was like saying, I want them not to see this, I want them to see everything. He respected waving so much. He respected snaking so much and other styles. Skeeter Rabbit did roboting. He did different things.
Yeah.
So he sent me to Korea. Skeeter Rabbit sent me to China not the first time, but the first time for popping. I went before with another job, but he sent me and I did KOD with them. That was because of Skeet. He says, we need to see the mixes, a different feel.
Wow. Wow.
So that was a blessing, and I think that he helped with that.
Interesting, because like I don't know somebody, to be honest, that pushes people forward right now. It's very hard. Of course there are people, but I mean, like, oh, there's a job, I call this my friend and he gonna do this. It's very, very kind. This is very nice. It's very inspirational, to be honest. And okay, so after Japan in the 90s, what happened in the 90s, Smooth?
90s for me, something America, the history in America, it blew up so big, it was so huge, and there was so much work. And then with just the oversaturation of popping and breaking and everything, it just phased out. It burned out. Nobody wanted to see it anymore. It became America's very fickle. When they see something too much, they're tired of it. They don't want to see it anymore. So what happens is what those seeds in the beginning, those nightclubs and those shows in Japan and Korea and different places like that, because like Pete and Sugar Pop went to Bangkok or Thailand. Me going to Spain early in '83. You had other places. That later became a blessing because these guys started really loving and pushing up the scene and creating studios and events and battles and things like that. And all of a sudden, you had the internet and everything, and then people did certain things. They either had to find work somehow, you had to go find a job, go overseas, or find some type of channel to feed yourself or feed your family. Skeet and some of the guys went overseas, and they just went and left. I know Wiggles was still working in New York and doing some commercial work, and he went to Vegas. Matter of fact, Wiggles was doing a show in Las Vegas, and he had asked me to do it, but at the time, I just had my 2 children, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there for my children, so I kind of chose to stay home. I didn't want to travel so much. Same with the EBs. I'll say this here, like years ago, I started coming out to I would go to some of the events like a B-Boy Summit, Freestyle Session, things like that. And I went to one in LA, and I can't remember what year it was. If I look at who won, I think Sally Sly was the winner that time. I remember I danced, and Skeet called me the next day. And see, Skeet and Pete, I mean, I've worked with these guys, and we were just like brothers, and there was at that time when I met them, there was no like group, the Electric Boogaloo's. It was just Pete, Skeet, Hugo, Taco, Sugar Pop. Let's just go dance. Let's just go work. This was the family. This is what we did. Boogaloo Sam, I met Sam in '84 in Canada. He was already living there. And then at this time, the EB group came back. And Skeet called me the next day and said, hey, we want you to be in the EBs. And I said, okay, but at this time, I got my kids and I'm working a design job too. So I can't travel so much, just a little bit. So we talked about that, but nothing really ever happened from it. I think they ended up doing some tours in Europe and things like that. So I primarily stayed here. I would still go to the north of France. I was hired to go to the north of France in Roubaix for a school called Dans la Rue Dance in Roubaix. I would teach there. I did a show there with Freeze, Sugar Pop, Jazzy J, Sundance. Ken Swift came one time. Pop and Pete came one time. And this school, we did a showcase there, and I started going every year and going to teach. And that's overseas became the new job for us American poppers, because here there was nothing. It was finished.
Yeah. I think I see footage with Freeze and you in France in the mid-90s. Yes. There is, I don't know if it's a tutorial video or I don't know what a kind of VHS.
Look at Bruce just
Yeah,
put it
Bruce.
in. I think it said 95, was it?
95.
Yeah. You know, this was a special time. A lot of these kids were young kids in this school. Didn't have a lot of money, but street dance was saving them. It was saving them from going into gangs or drugs. And it's like a lot of these guys, sometimes they became, you know, teachers, and they would go do things. So, you know, for us, it was great. You know, we were going back to reality. We went here from doing all the Coca-Cola commercials, the movies, the tours, back to where we started, going to be teaching kids and going to, you know, ghettos around the world and just teaching people that were hungry for this dance.
Wow.
You know?
Yes, for sure. So yeah, because you're
Bruce.
Bruce. Nice. Yeah, you were and are role models, you know, because you were the inspiration on VHS and the movies, you know, because of some, when I talk to some old schoolers from Germany, but I don't mean Storm or Amigo, I mean like people who don't dance anymore, like they stopped dancing in the end of the 90s.
Yeah.
They talk about these movies, right? And I think it was a big thing, I think, when they could practice with you, right? Or with Taco or with Pete or somebody.
Yeah.
So when you came to Europe, I don't mean in Spain, but later in the 90s, and you explain what is the dance and what is the culture of the dance, and then you see their culture. Like, because in France they called it the Smurf, because Bruce told me in the interview last week, they called it the Smurf. So how was it for you to say no, or to say, okay, you call it like this, or, you know, to change the mind, or I don't know, you know, like.
Honestly, I was never in that situation. I only knew from other people that they called it the Smurf, because even in LA, some people, I think in England, were calling it body popping.
Yes.
But nobody ever told me that. When I had a class, I would just speak and we would do routines and I would teach what I know, but maybe they were just too shy, they wouldn't say anything, but nobody really said anything about that. I never had issue or anything. You know, later on, the whole pop lock thing came up in LA, where it was such a big online battle and debate. And, you know, I have my opinion on that as well, but it's like, I don't like to get involved.
You wanted to say something about these terms, right? Can you explain maybe?
I don't like to get too involved in like the online debating. I have things that I can say, but like, what is that going to do to? It's one thing if I speak with you or an interview and I can give you my opinion. With pop locking, was the word used? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, okay, first of all, let me say, you can say whatever you want. Yeah. You can say any term you want. I've never, ever told anybody, don't dance like this, don't do this, don't dance to this music, don't use this term. As far as I'm concerned, you can say whatever you want. You can dance however way you want. You can go to any teacher you want. That's your choice. Okay. Now, with that being said, I can tell somebody, like, do I think that the word pop lock back then was a correct term? I don't think it was. Okay, that's just my opinion. I'll tell you an example. My teachers in high school, we would go to Southgate, which is a city that Skeeter Rabbit lived in, and this is how they set up battles. They said, hey, my boy wants to battle, we're going to battle against you. So we went to an apartment, a small apartment, and they played music on the radio. Nobody said anything yet. My teacher gets up and he says, okay, we're gonna pop against each other. We're gonna pop in battle. So my teacher gets up, and then I'm sitting in the living room, and the other guy's right there. They put on the music and said, all right, let's go. And my teacher says, you go first. So the other guy starts going like this. And my teacher says, we're popping. This is a popping battle. And he says, we're pop locking, bro, we're pop locking. And they got confused.
Wow.
So my teacher, so we thought like, oh, it's finished, let's go home. But my teacher said, no, it's okay. And my teacher started locking. I didn't know he could lock, so he started locking. But do you see how it could be confused? It's like, yeah, pop locking, the word was used, but I think it was used, different people in different cities and different areas have different terms. I think it was just, it's possible it could have been a misunderstanding because when I used to do this, people would say, oh, he's breakdancing. It's something that can be used once and use it twice, use it 3 times. They put you in a category of like, if I'm doing this and doing this, I'm a breakdancer. Or I'm a hip hop dancer. So now, I think now a lot of Americans and a lot of people try to like just hold on to it and say, no, this is what I grew up with. I'm going to keep to this word. So for me to change their mind, it's not worth it. Keep it. You want to be a pop locker, call yourself a pop locker. Because I believe that you're a popper, you're a locker. A locker is this, a popper is this, and they're just different. They're just different dances, you know. And people like to go to that famous old school rapping song where it says pop locking on the West Coast, pop locking in Compton.
Yeah.
I don't like to use that because you're gonna let a rapper determine what the name of your dance is.
Exactly.
If we did that, we'd be in trouble because there's a lot of songs that are out there that are messed up. You know. So, anyway, that's my take on that. You can call yourself whatever you want.
Very, so logic. And okay, then after the 90s, you start your event with freestyle session, right? When the West was won, right? Or it was
How the
something
West was
before?
won. No, we did How the West was won before freestyle. Later on, we did a collaboration.
Okay, and then collaboration. Oh, okay.
There were some events going on, freestyle session, B-Boy Summit, and then a friend of mine that's a dancer, Crescendo, used to do his event as well, and we would go. And a friend of mine that used to be a rapper, Gerardo, we were on tour together, and he was an artist with Interscope Records. He still loved popping, so we would go to some events. So we went to an event one time downtown LA, and we saw how that in LA, the scene was getting big again. And like I remember seeing Flowmaster there and Wiggles, and we were like, he had an idea. At the time, he finished rapping, but he was an executive at Interscope Records. So he had connections with the music industry and some sponsors, and he says, hey, let's do an event. Let's try to get an event. He goes, you handle the connections with all the dancers, and I'll get the sponsors and the money. We'll find a venue, and let's put an event together, and then we'll film it and make a documentary. Okay, it sounds like a great idea, and it was great. But you like anything, you have highs, struggles, you have problems.
Yeah, it's how you call it, you know, when the line, you know,
being a promoter, and you could probably ask Bruce, it's probably a hell of a job. It's hard. So
I did last year. I did my first event, and I just felt like whoa, stress and not enjoying any dancing. Everybody was happy, but I was like, okay, what's missing?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So we had 2 big connections. We had sponsorships by Hurley, which is a big clothing company here, and with Nike. So they gave us all the money we needed, and we did How the West was won for about 6 years. And we gave away a lot of money. We tried to bring back with the original How the West was won groups, because everybody was a soloist. Everybody was just one guy. So we gave away, I think the first year was, I don't even remember now. My memory is like, it's either $5,000, $10,000, something like that, like a lot of money per category. And we did it for a few years, and we had different people come from overseas. We had Japanese dancers. We had Salah came. We had, I'm trying to think, a lot of people come around, and then we took it as far as we could, and then we tried to like salvage all the tapes and do stuff, and it was just so difficult. My partner ended up losing some of the tapes. I have some, but it's just we ended up losing sponsors, and then just over the years, that's when we caught on with Freestyle Session.
Yeah.
He was connected with Polo, which is the guy that does Freestyle Session, and with Cross One.
Yeah.
And they connected and says, hey, why don't you guys handle the popping part of Freestyle Session? So we did that for a couple of years, and then that was about it. You know?
Yeah. The rest is history. Yeah. Wow. Can I go back to the term that you like, this combo styles? Like in a battle today, what is called popping battle, right? When you make a popping battle, of course you have to pop. But when you combine this, so in your opinion, right? When you combine, because I see also you say illusion styles or illusionary styles, right? So when you combine this against the funky popper, or how would you call the battle term, right? When people are different styles, right? You know what I mean?
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do for
Yeah.
you, because I've only talked to a couple people about this, but this is very simple in my eyes. Okay.
Yes.
And Bruce is watching, so if he ever does an event again, you guys can take it and run with it. What you should call the popping, waving, boogaloo thing, call it boogaloo. Call it boogaloo. Don't call it popping, because people have problem with this is popping. This is popping. If you do this, it's not popping. If you do this, it's not popping.
Yes, exactly.
But if you take the word boogaloo, okay, boogaloo came before street dance. Boogaloo was a Latin boogaloo, okay? It was a different type of dance. That ended up coming where the name boogaloo represented everything. You just get down, okay? James Brown used boogaloo. Oakland used boogaloo in their dance. Electric boogaloos are from Fresno. Boogaloo back in the day meant everybody had boogaloo on the jacket. Boogaloo shrimp. Junior boogaloo. Boogaloo Sam. Do they pop the same? No, they pop different. Okay, so what you have is boogaloo. So you would eliminate every problem in the world, because if you say, hey, we're having a locking competition, a boogaloo competition, and a b-boy competition. Hey, what's under boogaloo? Well, boogaloo can be Oakland, electric, you can have waving, you can have tutting, you can have anything you want. No more problems, right? But some promoters are stuck with, they want to use that popping term, that popping, because that's been that whole umbrella.
And to change it is also very hard, I think.
And I get it, because LA was a melting pot. LA was a big salad, because you had Fresno, you had Oakland, and all the Bay Area, everything.
Yes, I talked yesterday with Peso, so he talked about the history from the Bay.
So it fell to LA, and you have all this big mixed salad, and it's hard in the salad to go, let me take the popping out and the waving out, and this out and this out.
Yes.
So why not call it boogaloo? It's either going to call it street dance or boogaloo, but street dance is too confusing. So if you say boogaloo, there you go.
Wow. It's a new perspective also for me. It's very new. Yeah, but it makes sense how you say it. It makes sense. Very nice. So guys, listen. It's a nice idea, right? Because my event last year, I had like one animation, one tutting, one waving, and one popping. So for everybody, it was clear, and you could see the developing in the style, right? Yeah. So it was very beautiful. But when you make only one category that is mixed with all these styles.
Here's the thing. The reason why you made like an animation category and a waving category is because of the problem you had with, this is a popping event. You can't wave in here, or you can't animate in here.
Exactly.
That's why those categories were made for a competition. But if we go back to the late 70s and the 80s, you didn't have that. It was about my style against your style. And if we categorize it boogaloo, if you come out, I don't know what you do. So if we put on the music and you come out me animating and I come out popping, it doesn't matter. The crowd will sit there and say, who was better? Who was better? Who danced better to the music? Who made us go, wow, this guy's dope? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
honestly, you're both good. A competition is just a way of saying that day who was better
Yeah,
musically.
exactly. Yes, I see the same. Yes, yes, yes. And
That's what you have.
wow. And oh shit, I forgot it right now because I was in
Don't
your
forget.
words. Yeah, yeah, I forget. Um, uh, so wait, it's
Okay,
it's
take
in
your
my
time.
head. One thing. When you wait, it was we talked about it was the categories about Boogaloo and yeah. So today when I watch a Marvel movie from today and I see a character that inspires me, right? And I dance with it, you know? I use the technique, what I learned, and I dance with it. But nobody's gonna understand it, right? Because it's not communicated. But I'm gonna do it well, so well that I can, right? So what you think about today's creativity and before's creativity? Actually, there I wanna go
The
because
thing, the thing
before
with
it was
that, okay, I
yeah
talked to Pete. I talked to Pete a little bit about that, and I can only tell you what I think and from like my experience. And I agree. Like when we were doing when we watched a movie or King Kong, and we're trying to like basically you're just trying to copy King Kong.
yeah
Okay, now stay with me here. Like if I'm trying to copy, like we're kids, so in my house and people's houses, we all were doing almost the same thing. Like we weren't on play on tablets or our phones. Or, we were like, oh, did you see King Kong? And we played. Or if we watched a kung fu movie, what did we do? Anybody in my age is gonna say like, oh, we came outside and we were trying to act like Bruce Lee and whoa, like kicking and stuff like that. So we mimicked what we saw on TV and there. It's harder now because you meet the media, TV, internet. There's so much. I you have so many avenues to watch different things. So let's
I
say you
see the
watch
same
one movie, Marvel. You talk about Marvel.
yeah
So Marvel, it's pretty big. So if I copy one character on there, most chances are is that most people are going to understand what I'm trying to do.
yeah
But if you watch some independent small film that not a lot of people see, how are you going to get that across?
yeah
But
yeah
but here's the key: if you do something that's cool, if it's dope and it's really
it's
entertaining,
dope
it doesn't matter where it came
yes
from. If we do it and
yes
say, "Whoa, Robozee's doing this crazy thing," I don't know where it came from, so I want
yeah
to sit down and ask you, "Hey, where'd you get that from?" And it's like,
yeah
"Oh, that's really cool." You know,
yeah yeah yeah
you can do whatever you want now.
yeah
The game is wide open.
super
The,
wide open yes
the thing is like it still has to the big audience has to say, oh, we like that. If they don't
yeah
like it, then maybe you should try something else. That's what I would tell anybody. Like, don't force it on people.
yeah
They either like it or they don't, you know.
yeah
And
interesting
I think one main issue with a lot of the animation and the plane and the TV and the whether it's Terminator or Jurassic Park, yeah, that was like a playful for fun thing, but you still have to connect it with the music. Some people, at least if you're within the realm of boogaloo popping, bring it in with the music somehow. Bring it into the dance because if you don't, it
yeah
becomes theater animation like something
yeah
else. You know?
yeah it
So
becomes theater it's the yeah it makes so much sense um so I'm born in 83 and I grew
I
up
just got out
also
of high school in '83.
so I grew up also watching kung fu movies and
Yeah,
make them with my friends and watching anime. It was new for us, like Japanese anime and Fist of the North Star and stuff like this.
yeah.
So and we went to practice in the youth club and do the same. So I see some similarities in this generation, but when I compare my generation with these from today, then I see the same. What's up, everybody? So many informations. It was so many informations are today. But let's wait for Hugo. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there are so many information right now to stick to
Yes.
one thing. Before, I asked somebody how to pop, and he showed me the pop comes from the tricep. And then I practice half year, a year to feel my tricep. And till now, I practice the pop. I practice the foundation.
Yeah.
So, but I have the feeling that the people from today, they have so many information. They try to combine it so fast in 1 year to learn how to pop, to animate, and to wave, but high quality. And and I feel what you say, because I believe also you stick to things, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like when I first started going to the north of France, I saw a lot of that in the beginning. A lot of people like, show me how to, like, I want to battle like next week. I want to like become fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe it's like going to school. Like, listen, do you really want to go this fast and do it the wrong way? Like, do it the quick way? And then, because you're going to get to the point where, like, you're going to want to come back and learn from the basics and learn this. There's so many dancers out there nowadays that they learn too fast and they don't know the core. They don't know a lot of the base. And it's like, why not take your
Interesting.
time or maybe practice your thing on your own, but come and learn from some of these people that are still alive and learn the basics. It's good to have all information. When you go to university, do you not learn the basics and do you not learn all these different advanced things? You learn everything, not just one piece. Why take one quick way when experience all of it? Experience all the information that's out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would be the smarter way.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. But I think also to go to the core, it needs time. It's like what you said. Yeah. It
Yeah.
needs time to understand the core.
I mean, there's
That's,
some people now that they don't have the opportunity to travel, and I get people that email me and message me all the time, and they're from different countries. Maybe they're really poverty stricken and they can't travel, they can't go to workshops. I understand that.
yeah.
So, but I've seen some people like in Vietnam, let's say, that learned from watching on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, we learned originally. We didn't have teachers. We just went and did it, and we would watch. Oh, what's the next dancer we can see in the next video for MTV or this
Yeah.
or that, and
Yeah.
just okay,
Me too.
let's
Yes.
go. You know, you just went. You just did it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. But me, I had all, yeah, but after, so after 20 years of the culture, 30 years of this dance culture, I had the opportunity to get some videotapes, right? Back in the 90s.
Because you need some inspiration. You need
Yeah.
something to like go off of. You know,
Yes.
that
Yes.
helps.
Yes. And not only like inspiration from movies, like dance inspiration. Yeah, it was very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so you call your style like a combination style, right?
It's a mix, and even today, when somebody says, "Oh, can you show me this?" I have to back up a little bit and say, "Okay, I have to dissect that and say, okay, let me just work on this because now, if you watch me dance, or even if you watch Taco dance, there's a mix of stuff in there, and it's
Yeah.
hard to just take this out. You can, but it's like
Yeah.
you've done this, and then just kind of like mixed, intertwined everything. Do you know how
Mm.
hard? You know how hard this is. And we're back to that salad. Is it get the nuts or the tomatoes out of there? It's hard. You
Yeah.
know, it's all mixed
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It makes so much sense because it's,
But
yeah. Because
but if you're a
everybody
good
wants to learn
teacher,
technique, right? It's all about the
yeah,
technique right now. So what is the technique of animation? Is it the dime stop, or is it the vibration, or like this kind of thing? Or
it's different things for different people because I don't think
yeah.
there's only one way. Animation is what? What does the word animation mean? It means bring from dead to life. So however way you bring to life, whether it's a cartoon or
Yeah.
a cartoon is animation, like bringing that King Kong doll, bringing it to
Yeah.
life is animation. There's different fields, different types of animation.
Wow. Wow. So in waving, because you master so crazy waving. So how many styles do you have in waving, or you can call waving
I
styles?
I stopped really. I do what I call like deep waves. I have very small, very like almost like a ripple wave, and then it's just more techniques that you throw on top of the wave. I
Yeah.
don't think it's so much like a style. It's like I think a long time ago there used to be like there's one style of wave, there's like an easy flow, or there's like more technical wave. A wave is a wave to me. So
Yeah.
it's how you perform it. Like if you start off slow and then you go into a big type of wave and then you stop and start to animate that wave or isolate and use the
Yeah.
robotics. It's just a sprinkle of flavor you're putting on that same wave. I I think you might have heard this before with some of your interviews. A long time ago, there were some phrases for some things like, "Oh, what is this called? Oh, let's write
Yeah.
that down." Nobody did that.
No.
It's like, "Oh, he's doing a crazy like almost looks like a ripple wave," and maybe in another city they said, "Oh, maybe it looks like a little microwave." It's like there were words being thrown
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Nobody had a chalkboard and said, "No, this is what this is called." You know,
Of
it's just
course, you were kids. Yeah, true.
yeah, you know.
And how much the influence of the Cobra
Oh,
was?
big,
Yeah. Yeah.
big because
Tell me something about this.
that's probably like one thing that I don't remember any of my teachers. They just didn't do that. That came, they they two key things when I met Taco were like the footwork. A lot of people looked at his pop and they looked at this a lot of the snaking.
Yeah.
But first thing I looked at was the footwork because he was doing what we now call like the crazy legs. So when I first saw him, it was just doing this. He was
Yes.
I saw that for the first time, and I was like, ah, that's kind of interesting because I never really did too much footwork before, and it's like so I wanted to learn that, and then was just this when he did the and sunk, I was like, wow, that snaking. To me now with my popping, you can just pop, and just add a simple swirl,
Wow.
and it just opens up more doors.
Yes. It makes more
And
space in your dance, right?
yeah,
This is how I feel
yeah.
when I try to combine or I combine it.
And like I said, Taco didn't create the King Cobra, but in my opinion, he made it bigger.
Yeah.
He introduced me to the guy that created the King Cobra, Daryl Johnson from the Mysterious Poppers. He had kind of stopped dancing already, but Taco said, "I want you to meet my teacher of the Cobra." So we went to his house, and he said, "Show him." And Daryl showed me a little bit of how he did a snake, and I was like, I said, "Oh, it's nice." But to me, Taco already took that to a higher level.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
if you watch Taco do it, it's like to me, it's like even to today. I can take it to Long Beach, and he does the best Cobra that anybody's ever done. I mean, he just does a snake. It's incredible. And you know, that's one thing that I don't think anybody can ever do better than him.
Wow. So but snaking is actually waving, right? Or
Snaking, I look at it differently
how
because
you
waving,
separate it? Yeah.
if you take the technique or the dance of waving, it's basically bringing the wave in and out of your arms and down your chest. When you change it to a snake, you start doing this.
Yeah.
And that's like a snake would move. So I do
Yes.
this. So if I'm not talking and they say Hugo wave, just wave, simple.
Yeah.
Then they say Hugo snake,
Yeah.
it becomes different. And then within the snaking family, Cobra,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
then it becomes
So
different.
so could I say that waving is it's outside the body that happens inside the body and go in and out?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
bringing wave or electrical currents or something will flow through and in and out of your body.
Yeah. But the
When
snake is inside, right?
snake is like it's a mental thing to me. You want to almost like animation. When you're animation, you become the animated thing.
Yeah.
Snaking, you start to like coil and turn and
Yeah. You
snake.
become the snake. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
start to you try to mimic the snake as best you can.
Yeah. It makes so much sense. It's so logical how you explain this. Super dope.
At
Thank you
least
so
for me,
much.
this is my thinking, my
Yeah, of
mentality.
course, of course. It's your perspective, but for me, it sounds very logical. This is what I mean. It's super.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, for saying these things. So, because how you have snaking, you have waving, popping, animation. And which other style you use in your illusion styles?
I think Taco and myself and people that are in my realm, like whether it's Kid Boogie and Kay, uh, some of the dancers in China, even Juan uses it, Viho, Gino, they all use, we concentrate on stops, on dime stops, whether you're going to do a regular dime stop or an animated dime stop, and then the concept, what I learned from Taco and what I teach is like, it's not just pop, pop, but it's like when we stop, we pop to move, pop, pop to move. So it's that isolation with the rolling and the tension. So you see how it's like hard for us to separate? Like we pop, then we use the animation and the
Yeah,
snaking and the robotics together. So robotics, dime stops are important. There's so many people that come here. What do I need to work on? Even Taco will say, they'll sit there and say, you need to do stops. You need to stop.
yeah,
Because we try to work with the music and not sometimes the music is going to be continuous popping. Boom, boom, boom. Then there's
yeah.
see that we start putting those stops in to make people say whoa and
Yeah,
see some more
accents.
dynamic things.
Accents is so important in dancing. Accents,
Yeah.
yes. So look, because I created before I knew these things about how you call this also illusion styles or combination styles. I created with Two Face, a partner from me. Um, we created the term illusionary dance forms just to become technical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to, it's not cultural, it's not traditional, it's not about the California styles and the how you dress, the music and so on. It's actually of as an artist and a theatrical anywhere movement, right? So, and it's interesting how you say this and how to combine this. It's actually the same idea, but without the traditions, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I think what's important that people maybe realize and see, because they'll come here from different parts of the world and they'll say like, what do you like? Sometimes I'll get this general question, like if it's a Japanese dancer, oh, what do you think about Japanese poppers, or what do you think about Chinese poppers? What's the difference, and how?
Yeah.
And they dance different than them. That's the way it should be, I think. Like, like you have Chinese food that tastes a certain way. You have Mexican food from a different country, a different culture that tastes a certain way. You have Japanese food that, like, I love to go to Japan and eat Japanese food.
Yeah.
Why would I want to go to Japan to eat American food? It's like I love the difference between, like, I can say, well, the Russian poppers have a certain style that they have of their own. The Japanese have a certain style, that they dance like. The Koreans, the Chinese, I can kind of almost tell when it's a European style popper or a French popper and a
Yeah.
different style. And I'm not trying to be like, make this any type of race thing. It's like, I think it's beautiful. You want to go to a different country and feel a different feel, a different vibe. That's why I push so much, like what I do or what Taco does or what people do over here. Like, this is the West Coast feel. This is the West Coast. So we have a certain feel and a certain vibe. Like when some of my friends, like Guchan or Kay, come to LA, oh, I miss Cali. I miss the West Coast flavor, the West
Yeah.
Coast feel.
Yeah.
So that's what we encompass. That's what we're holding on to over here, because the West Coast, this whole California, even the Bay Area, whatever, I'm gonna extend it out to. It ended up coming down, like I said, to the West Coast, but
Yeah.
it was originally over in the Bay Area and stuff like that. But it's like in Fresno, but like now it's the West Coast feel. So it's like, it's important. This is where it was key. This whole California area. This is the golden
Yes.
golden
This is
state.
yes.
This is the Mecca. This is where it was all at. New York had its b-boying, and other parts of the states you had little sprinkles here and there,
Yeah.
but there was no other place like this West Coast California feeling and
Yeah.
style. This is where it was at.
Actually, I call this Cali styles, right? Cali or West, or you can say West Coast
I mean,
styles, of course.
even when I was dancing with Taco later, after this is already big and kind of going down, we traveled all over the United States. I've been to almost every state, different places in the world. Especially with Taco, like that guy was like a monster. When I say this in a good term, like he was just impossible. What you saw this man do back in its heyday was just amazing. We went to the Bay Area. We went to different places. We saw what they had to offer. Like everybody looked at Taco in awe. He was just an amazing popper, you know. A lot, like I said, a lot of people even now he doesn't practice anymore. He just teaches what he knows. But it's like he was just a big inspiration to so many people, and he just loved to dance. He was a super nice guy. He was never angry with it. He never went to challenge people. He just danced. He just loved to dance, you know. And I can't say that enough. It's like he's just everybody that came across his path, they smiled and they watched him. Like I've seen them all. Everybody, you know, they all watched him and just were amazed at how he danced, you know.
Wow. It's interesting. This is what I hear. Every word that you say, I hear from everybody who talks about Taco, and this is incredible. He's a legend. It's incredible. So because I see you're very open-minded, you're not narrow-minded, you're not so like dogmatic thinking. What do you think? Is it already your personality, or was it the traveling with the people to see so many countries, to see, you know, to think holistic, you know, to see this big picture?
No, I think for me it was easy because I was an artist by trade, like as a child, so I was very creative. And when I met Taco, it made it even more because we both liked the same things. We like watching the movies and seeing the little creatures, the robots, and going, look, he's moving and we can move like him. And we wanted to try to do some different things. Like when I met him, like I said, my wave was nice and flowy, and his was technical. So he mixed that, and we would go shh and do all the robotics with it. That wasn't done back then when I met him. Honestly, Shrimp was doing it, he was doing it, and then I did it, and we started just doing that all the time. You didn't see that before.
And make it better.
You saw poppers pop, and you saw this. You never saw all of that stuff. That wasn't done before. Nobody was doing it anywhere else besides the West Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
So we looked for opportunities. We would practice to different styles of music. It didn't have to be just old school funk. We heard something that had a nice track and a nice funky beat. We would just dance to it. If it made us move, we would dance to it. Yeah. It didn't have to be just the dogmatic, just old school funk.
So it's it makes sense. So when you see today in a competition somebody who dance this kind of 80s, beginning of the 80s style, this combined style, you look at it like okay, this is old, bring me something new, or are you happy to see it? I mean, like in a good quality, of course, right?
Okay, that's a little tricky because I like to say that I have one foot in the old school and one foot in the new school.
Nice.
I have the feeling, the knowledge, and the understanding of the old school, but I want to progress. But sometimes you need to go back to replenish, to go forward. I do tell some people, like when I've been, I think in Korea, I said it like, look, you guys are doing, because Taco was there for a large amount of time, and I said, you guys are trying to copy Taco exactly the way he did the cobra and the snake, but even Taco would tell you, and Sam tells you with his popping, like take it and do something different with it, like mix it up. Like, so I can go to some competitions and watch, and I'm like, okay, you're good, but, and okay, maybe you win the competition because maybe nobody else is better than you, but you really didn't like, don't you want more for your dance? Don't you want to do something bigger and better and like, or you want to just keep doing the same thing that everybody did before, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you can be safe, you can be content, or you can try to like grow and expand.
Of course. But this is because I did a lot of theater. I did also a lot of commercial, and I practice a lot, and I have contact to many poppers. And actually, I feel you so strong. I feel the same, and it's an artistic mind. Actually, what you have, it's an open mind, and of course, you do your thing, and developing an evolution in your dance every day. And I think.
But what's really, really important, sometimes, at least for me, I get a lot of people that, because with that same frame of mind, you can get too much and your
Yeah.
head explodes. And what do you have to do?
Yes.
What do people do normally, like when they're in regular business or at home and they get too stressed? They go back on vacation or go back to their home country or something. So I like to say, you get too much and I feel like confused or I don't like my feeling, I go back to the basics.
Me
I
too.
do
Me
what I
too.
tell some people. I put on some Roger and Zap or some old
Yeah.
Cameo,
Yeah.
and I just
Yeah. Yeah.
just go back to the original basics to just kind of replenish you, just to
I
feel.
went I went a long time. I went a long time to to experiment and to have new music, minimal music, techno music. And then suddenly it was too much. I make a small pause and then I went back to the basics, what I learned and so on. And I think this
Yeah,
is, it's exactly what you say. It helps so much.
yeah.
Do you take sometimes a pause? You make a pause from dancing, like 1 week no dance or something?
I tell you what. Last maybe 2 years ago, I was practicing maybe 5 days a week. And then I started mixing it a little bit to like where I would do 1 day of popping and try to do like 1 day of just training, maybe some push-ups or something, like this. Now I maybe train about three times a week because I feel like I don't want to lose too
Yeah.
much time because my good friend Tony Basil always told me don't don't let the wheels stop too long because they get hard and rusty.
Yes.
So I have to keep going. So but I like a little rest for the body because it replenishes, it gets fresh,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Um, I actually just started picking up doing yoga because of my friend Flowmaster. He
Yeah.
Flowmaster's so much into like body and physical stuff, like
Yes.
training.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yoga's helped me with flexibility. So I'm trying to like regain a lot of flexibility back. So I'm trying all kind of different things, you know. But
Nice. Yeah,
yeah,
me.
you have to give your body rest.
Of course, of course. It's interesting because there is a, I don't know which ballet dancer, and it's an old quote. He says, after 1 day not dancing, you feel, the body feels it. And after 2 days not dancing, the audience can see it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it's very interesting. Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
I like to try to not keep further than at least 2 days and do something, you know,
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
whether it's just come in and pop the muscles or just feel the music.
yeah, yeah,
I use this analogy like in my classes a lot of time is like the dancer is like an athlete. Like I like to train instead of doing the weights. That's my pop. Okay,
yeah.
the stretching is the waving. So if I stretch, and
Yes,
then the cardio, the running is the movement
yeah.
around. So those are my three cores. As long as I keep working on those, then
Wow.
I can do like a hard training session with some guys
Yeah.
and you know work on things.
I have something similar to this because I have like also a triangle for
Yeah,
as a dancer. Where are you as a dancer? And in the up is the spiritual part, then you have the battle part, and then you have the entertainment part. And then depends what kind of dancer you are. You're more entertainer or more you're spiritual. You dance for yourself, you learn, to master everything, or you go to the entertainment business. And I believe like you are somewhere in the middle, sometimes more spiritual, sometimes more like battle mode, or like competing against yourself, or entertainment for workshop or for shows and so on. So I think there is a triangle of balance inside this triangle, right?
yeah. I think I have something similar because um, yeah, depending on if somebody comes in here, like what I ask them, what do you want to do with this? If
Yeah,
you're just going for the feeling, like what's connected to your spiritual, the feeling and the vibe, then it's
yeah.
you don't care about anybody, you don't care about the mirror,
Yes,
you're just doing this. If you want to worry about the entertainment and the people that are looking, then you lift and you smile and you're entertaining. And then there's the physical that you have to work on. Like
yeah,
I'm not going to be able to move like this if I don't exercise and I don't eat right. So I want to
exactly.
make sure my body's in good condition to do everything.
Yes, yes, it makes sense. I don't know more. Hugo, you said so many stories, and I know you can keep moving forward, but I think the time, look, we have 1.5 hours, and every time I stop with 1.5 hours because it's a good timing.
Sure.
Thank you
No,
so much for this
you're
great
welcome.
opportunity, and it's if I ever come to the States, I will come to your place,
Of course,
and,
come
and
anytime.
whenever you're in Germany, please tell me. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I was there a few years ago, and but I was with Poppin' Hood in
nice.
and I loved it. It was my first time in Germany, and I had a different perception, and I loved it. It was beautiful. I really want to go back.
Wow. Yeah, he's here. Look,
Hey,
Sven
Poppin'
popping
Hood,
out. Yes,
bring me back. Bring me back.
yes, yes. Yeah, we are together. We call we have a crew. It's called Funformers, and
Oh,
maybe
yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe next year when the Corona is finished, maybe we can organize something together and take some sponsor. You know.
No, you know
So
what? Honestly, it was one of the most. It was a great time with Sen, and even with the city. It was like the food. They were small, very intimate, but the people,
yeah.
you guys were all so hungry to learn everything. Like it was amazing. I had a great time. I had a really good
Wow.
time.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
hopefully everything will get better soon, and people can
yeah,
start. But you know what? This is just a different time in our lives, and people can exchange on video
yeah.
and stay safe, and hopefully things will open up
This
again.
is so important. So what we can say also, if people gonna watch later, oh, we have 45 people. Okay. So, but if people gonna watch it later, they can contact you and make private classes through internet, right? So
Yeah, just before the interview, I did a live session, so I'm
yeah,
gonna try to keep that up, and then I do privates all the time. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm always open. People can contact me even just for tips. I get videos all the time, and I give my advice and things like that.
Wow. Okay, cool. Nice
Yeah,
to hear this. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciating this moment. It's crazy.
thank you,
Legendary.
thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
I
So
appreciate it.
take care, stay safe, stay healthy,
You
and
as well.
keep on moving. We're gonna see each other for sure.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Take
Bye.
care. Thank you, people. Bye bye.
See you, Papa Hood. Bruce.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna post this for sure next week on my YouTube channel. I have a new YouTube channel and I have all the interviews. So you can have Faisal from the Bay, Hugo from LA, and so on. Bruce from France. Everybody's there. Thank you for watching. I hope you get something to move on and to open your mind and to work on yourself. Yeah, Hood, auf jeden Fall, man. So, yes, thank you so much, guys. Pugito, send the links. Yes, I will post the links in my story, and I think there is the highlights in the how you say in the profile. So maybe I can put them there. Kein Problem, Faulpelz. Alles gut. So, guys, thank you so much. I love you all. And tomorrow I have Mr. Steen, same time. And oh, Diso is inside. And Tuesday I'm gonna talk with Diso. So we have new generation and of course old generation. So tomorrow, Mr. Steen, same time. The Corona gonna be with us. Don't forget it. Bye bye. Love you all.